we've heard this before. There's no one path to leadership or to success. What would you say to that? What advice would you give to somebody?
So again, I'm apologizing for the cough drop.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Pop up into the cold north.
It's that time of year.
It is. Yeah. So I also, in the opening line, you talked about whether, leader read. I also don't know what the answer to that is either. I think it's probably some of both. There are some people who do have the natural talent, just like some people can pick up a football and throw it perfectly. Somebody else needs a coach to do it. I think there is a lot of development to be a good leader. There's a lot of opportunity, mentoring being my favorite way of developing, but there's certainly coursework. But here's my advice when you're thinking about what to do. Say yes. Just say yes to opportunities when they come. Don't be afraid. Don't put yourself on a track where you can't get off. I had an eye-opening moment. This is another one of those moments where a leader did something for me, and I had this conversation with him a few years ago. They did not realize the impact he had on me. Right. So when I was in British Aerospace. It was my first corporate job. I was over in the UK. It was a little high potential course I was in, and the chairman of British Aerospace was having dinner with us. We're sitting around smoking cigars in a castle in Ireland.
Oh my gosh.
And drinking scotch. And so people were getting pretty free with the chairman. And one guy finally said, the strategy of the company doesn't make sense. What we're trying to do doesn't make sense. I don't understand this. Nobody understands it. Why don't you fix it?
To the chairman?
To the chairman. So you got
it's
quiet.
Like, have another shot, buddy. Yeah.
So the chairman says, he thinks for a second, very dramatic, long pause out of the cigar. And he goes, there's 10 of us. Are any of you afraid of being fired today? Did any of you get up this morning and think that your job was so precarious that you would get fired? So we all had to admit, no, we're in this high-pool course. Do any of you feel as though you're not qualified for the jobs you're in? No. Do any of you feel you're not qualified for the next job you could get? No. Then you guys fix the goddamn company. Make decisions, lead, go out there and do things, and I've got your back. As long as you're trying to do the right thing for the company, I will always back you up.
Yeah.
And I said, I saw him a couple of years ago, and I related that story back to him. He didn't even remember being in the castle with us that night. But it's like my 11-year-old next door neighbor. He made such an impact on me when he said, just go do what you think is right.
Yeah.
So I say to people who are thinking about what do I do with my career? I'd say, just say yes. Just let opportunities come to you and say yes.